So today we got a Stadia blog post, and it basically covered what we've heard this past week, which we'll go over quickly today. But we got more information on this new optimization mode, and it could be a game changer for those with bad internet or data caps. We'll take a closer look at the new feature. Also, there were some listings found for Epic Games and WWE 2K in regards to Stadia, and we'll see if this means anything. And lastly, a Battlefield 6 update. All that in this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to always be up to date with Stadia news. So the Stadia blog post today contained all the news that we've talked about. Android TV and Google TV support is set to come June 23rd. There's already a list of devices that will be compatible and ready to go. Of course, the question for me remains, how will the performance be? As for devices not on this list, there will be an opt-in mode for those not supported, and it will be an experimental mode. Then if you missed, Stadia also announced a partnership with AT&T, which under the surface for me is more than just this partnership alone, but potentially working with these ISPs to really improve cloud gaming. It was mentioned how they are working closely with Stadia to really improve the full experience, which, looking ahead, Stadia working with all these carriers on getting the cloud gaming experience optimized to its fullest potential, to me is very big news. So this was something to watch out for, especially in the future with these partnerships. Lastly, Stadia did announce that Far Cry 6 pre-orders are up on the Stadia store, so just in case you missed it, you can pre-order it now. But the newest news of the day, and I talked about this yesterday, it has started to roll out now. There's a new mobile data experimental mode, but it goes just beyond that mobile aspect. It can also be used on PC. Now, if you guys look here on my screen, it cuts down the usage to 2.7 gigs an hour, and this is potentially a game changer for those with really bad internet, or you're just struggling with just the performance, or you have data caps and you're really trying to limit how much data you use. Also mentioned today was that Stadia on iOS has left the experimental stage and is rolling out a new version that does include this new mobile optimized mode. This is of course when you're using that progressive web app on iOS. Now, my game on PC using this new mode looked horrible. I was messing around with Resident Evil Village, and you can just tell it's plain ugly, but it was completely stable gameplay, which for me is key. I would imagine this would look a lot better on an actual mobile device than my 4K monitor. Again, this is something that I don't want to make light of, because this little mode here is key for the new release of Android TV and making that stable, but also the release of Stadia in other countries where the internet might not be as good. So for me, this is actually huge to see. But of course, balancing the data used plus the visuals and the performance are all something that Stadia, I'm sure, has taken into account, and in that regards, I'm pretty happy with how this looks. So kudos again to the Stadia team, and this is an awesome new feature. So a couple of job listings were recently found. Both are unrelated to each other, and really guys, this doesn't mean much, so we're going to take all of this with a grain of salt, but we'll highlight it either way. We'll start with this one with the Epic Games Senior Platform Programmer. This looks like it has something to do with implementing platform APIs, working with Vulkan, things of that sort, stuff Stadia essentially uses. But the curious part here is it is saying with OS level systems on Stadia right there at the end, so that's extremely curious to find. What this means from Epic Games, I'm not sure. Obviously, Epic Games has Fortnite, Rocket League, and others, and honestly, the CEO of Epic Games has been pretty adamant that Fortnite is just not something that they're looking at in regards to Stadia. Then there's a QA tester / specialist for 2K listing that was found in regards to WWE, and I think a new WWE 2K is coming out this year, and here it says knowledge of commercial online game platforms, and Stadia is mentioned. Again, this doesn't mean any sort of confirmation of really anything, but as you guys know, I like these little tidbits. I like sharing these with you guys, and I find them really fascinating, so and really intriguing. So with all this information, take what you want from it, but yeah, interesting stuff to say the least. And finally, in this video, the much anticipated Battlefield 6 trailer has dropped. Showed no gameplay, but it also showed no logos at the end, though the press release that came out today announced the platforms and the date. It is set to come October 22nd, but Stadia unfortunately has not been listed alongside the other platforms. As we all know, 2 games from EA are still set to come to Stadia, but those 2 titles have not been announced just yet, and they are a mystery. And as you guys know, when it comes to big games, Stadia tends not to get announced announced right away. We've seen that with games just this year alone. Resident Evil Village did not get announced until about a month prior to release. We saw it again with Little Nightmares 2 that only got announced the day it came out on Stadia, or maybe it was like a few days before. I don't quite remember, but there was almost no time in between. But not seeing really any Stadia news here is really disappointing, I have to say. I would make sure that you guys are vocal in social media, on the Stadia Reddit, in these comments down below, to make sure that you let the Stadia team know that this is a title that you guys care about. And as you guys know, Stadia makes announcements for new games rarely alongside other platforms, so we are just gonna have to continue to wait and see, and of course just let our voices be heard. With that, guys, don't shoot the messenger. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up and hit that red subscribe button if you're new, as well as that notification bell. That's it for the Stadia news. I'm Sunny, and as always, I'll see you guys in the clouds.